Good morning, class, and I want to begin this class by welcoming you to Entrepreneurship. This is our lesson 7. You remember in the other two weeks that there was an interruption, good interruption because you are doing exams, and also you are also involved in tests and then the main exams for January, April. This time we are now on course, and I want to welcome you once again that it is a very interesting class. I want also to encourage you to tell your friends, wherever they are, that the train left the station, therefore they should not be left behind. You know, studies will never stop, even with COVID-19. As you can see now, the challenges, the country and globally, this disease is not stopping, it is continuing. It's only man to adjust, to be able to protect himself and herself. As you can see, the challenges are there, even in China, where the disease began. You know, they are even confining people in Beijing, one of the largest cities, I think, in the world, confining people in sections, a whole 1 million people being confined, you know, in one region. So really what we need to do is to be able to adjust ourselves and be able to see that online blended learning is the real thing today. And I don't see it ending soon. So we better embrace this, ladies and gentlemen, and tell your friends, those doubting Thomases, that you know what's happening is that there's no relenting, there's no going back. The situation in the country and globally is a permanent one, for at least for now. So as we continue with our classes, if there is any adjustments we can make to make your learning comfortable, please, we are ready to do that. ZTech University, your alma mater, very keen to ensure that you study well and you also be able to achieve your objectives and get your degrees at the end of your studies so that you can join the workforce in a new environment. I believe all of us are looking at that. So with that, with those few remarks, I want us to begin our session. As we continue, as we can see, this is lesson 7, business planning. Lesson 7 and 8 will actually be touching on business planning because a key item, a key topic in the whole of entrepreneur's life or an SME's life or any business, they must do a business plan to be able to assist them to move forward in terms of growing, in terms of expanding, and many other things as we'll see. So lesson 1, I want to begin by sharing with you a picture. There are 2 illustrations I'm beginning with. I'm showing you here what we see here. Let's see. What we see here, Mercy, Ngoba, you are the first one. We want to give you accolades because you are the first one in class. Yes, Mercy, what do you see here? You can tell us, what do you see? Hello, here she has muted. Joram, how are you? What do we see here? Yeah? What do we see? What do we see in this picture? Yes, I'm okay. I see Jacqueline Karibuni. What do we see in this picture? And what does it remind you? Does it remind us? What does it remind us? Right, what do we see in this picture? Let's hear some people, or you can type and send your message. What do we see in this picture? Yeah? See some of you are typing already. That's very good. Let's chatting. Yeah. We have, of course, you can get a mic and speak directly. You can share or you can type and let us know as we chat. So what we see in this picture, I want to see some of you tell us something. Yeah? Ndiko, what we see? Yes? Joram? Good. River under bridge. Mwasi Ngoba, that's good. You see a river under bridge. What does it remind us? Yeah? Anything, anybody? It's very open. It's a bridge representing infrastructure. Yes? Ndiku, thank you very much. What else? What else can we say about it? What does it remind us? Interrelationships, yes. Between CEC, Jacqueline and Amoke, it's good. Transportation, bridge across the river has shown, yes. Right, this is interesting. Right, all of us can see it clearly. It's a bridge, very massive bridge, don't you think so? Yeah, and the river is wide, you can see that. It's like a suspended bridge, more or less. Yeah, it is. In fact, the Kenya government and some of the development partners want to build one across Likoni. so that there's no Likoni ferry. I mean, the ferry will be there, but they will have also a bridge. So it's very interesting. So a bridge connecting two places. I want to associate this to today's lesson, ladies and gentlemen. And when we talk about planning, when you look at this bridge, people sat down to plan. That first of all, they said we want to connect. Ideas came in to connect this side of the river and the other side. And so they had to sit down and think about how do we get across. You could swim or walk across if it's not too deep, and so on. But here, they said we have to put a bridge, a suspended bridge, and that's what they did. So even in business, you look at where you want to go. When you start a business, an entrepreneur does not just start and sit there. He wants to go across. If it's a micro enterprise, as we saw last time, expected to grow and become a large business. Medium, small, from small to medium and to large. Same thing with our lives. And same thing with all businesses. We grow. And that's why we talk about growth. So in this case, then, ladies and gentlemen, the bridge here gives us a picture of really what is ahead of us. It's planning. I want to bring also another illustration here. What we see here again, this is the image of the day. I say the image of the day here. And image of the day here, as you can see here, you'll see at the center. You see at the center. The topic we have today is business planning. And at the center here, we see the word planning. You have business planning, you have strategic planning, you have all sorts of planning. You can also plan for a wedding. If you plan for a wedding, plan for whatever else you can plan. But today we'll spend quite a number of amount of time looking at planning. And specifically, we'll look at business planning. And when you look at planning here, what do we see here? What we see in this planning, we see the main circle and concentric circles, the circles that surround it, showing the activities that go on. The first one here is, wherever you begin, is a management function, managerial function. Planning is not done by people on the shop floor or the junior officers. Planning is done by management. It's a managerial function. Managers sit and see where they want to take the business. And it's also the owner of the business. He also sits to see where do I want to go. I want to grow my enterprise. So it's a function. They plan. I want to have new line of products. I want to go to a new location. It is the owner manager that thinks about that. Just like we saw the bridge. That you see, what you do is you want to go across. You want to increase your production, products, reach a new market. It's a managerial function. What is it also? It is goal-oriented. Planning is also goal-oriented. It's not aimlessly. It's goal-oriented. You are looking at what you want to achieve. If it is going across to the other side like that bridge, is ensuring that the bridge is good. It will take people across and is able to reach across effectively and efficiently. So you have to, if it's increasing profits, doubling them from 100 million to 150 million, yes, it's goal. The goal is to increase profits. So goals is goal-oriented. You may also be thinking about expansion into two more branches. It's goal. The goal is the 2 branches and so on. Planning is also pervasive. That means it's all the time. It's continuous. It touches on this. It's not something that stops. It touches all areas of the organization. We'll be looking at this. We provided a notes, of course, about this image here, which you'll be reading. And I encourage you to read the notes that were provided. Then it's a continuous activity. Planning is not a one time. It's a continuous process in that as you plan, you look at other sub-plans as you move forward and you revise your plans based on the activities that are going on and also the environment that's changing. The business environment is very dynamic. For example, look at it in terms of who thought about what the kind of business, the environment today, 10 months ago, or before the end of last year. Last year when the businesses were planning for this year, expansion, growth, but you know, when COVID came in, it changed those plans completely. So it's a continuous activity that's always revising. It's not built cast on stone. It's also an intellectual process. It's not something that you sit and dream. It's not something that you use guts, as they say, you know, guesswork. It's an intellectual process. It's research involved in that. You have to find out if it's your customers, what do they need? Customer care. You're all the time on the tap in terms of finding out how are our customers doing? How are our products doing? Same process as if I may mention about the university. That with us here at the university, we are all the time looking at what else do we need to ensure that students continue to enjoy their learning even when we are not meeting physically. So it's a continuous process. And how can we improve this? Even our teaching, Mwalimu, as he teaches, he's also looking at, well, he has planned this lesson, yes. He sent out the course outline, yes. But he's continuously looking at new things, new knowledge, and how best to be able to deliver this learning to ensure that my students enjoy learning and learn the concepts and are able to apply them. It is futuristic, ladies and gentlemen. Planning is also future. You're planning for tomorrow and next week and next year and the years to come. You don't plan for the past. It's futuristic. So planning is futuristic. We are looking at the characteristics of planning because the lesson today is looking at what the topic today is business planning. And so the root word there is planning. And so it's futuristic. You're looking at the future all the time, including yourselves here, I'm sure, as you sit here, 41s, most of you are 41s, your fourth semester 1. You're looking at semester 2. When do we begin semester 2? And then I finish. Then I go out there to attachment and I go to the field. I go out there to work. So you plan. You sit here. Many of you had to decide with your parents and whoever is sponsoring you that, look, even with the COVID and the university has provided for opportunity to do blended learning. Why not do my blended learning so that I can be able to? So it's futuristic. You look at the future. Decision making, yes, planning also involves decision because there are many alternatives that you do. And so you look at the future, you look at decisions that have to be made now, excuse me, and you are actually going on to make sure that decisions are made at every stage in planning. Which alternatives would be the best? So it is basically, that's what planning is. And when we talk about business planning, we actually are touching these all aspects of the concept of planning. Any comments, ladies and gentlemen? Any comments? If anyone has comments, I welcome those who have just joined us. The train left station, and thank you for joining station. The station you joined at the time you joined us. We are moving on in terms of looking at business planning today. This is part 1 of business planning. Any comments? Any questions? What do you think? Let's get your comments. Any comments about this? Any comments on planning? Or examples? You have an example? You want to grow your business? You want to expand to another branch? You go through all these stages. Any comments on planning or examples? Let's read from you. Let's chat. I see Brian. Brian, are you with us? Brian Omondi. Hello, Brian. Or anybody. Belinda. Belinda Onyango. Yes. Mwasi, you're talking about, thank you, add on characteristics, high efficiency. Yes, it brings in high efficiency. Yes, good comment. That, you know, as a characteristic, these are characteristics of planning. And the other one is bringing efficiency, because that must come in. Yeah. When you are planning, you can't afford to fail. You fail to plan and you're planning to fail. So characteristics and so on. Keep typing. Let's keep on sending us communication. But the question remains, any comments on planning or examples based on this diagram? Okay. I wanted to hear some more further comments. Right. As you keep your comments coming, I want to move the next slide. And the next slide here is taking us now to the objectives of our lesson today. What are objectives? And as we look at objectives, I hope you can read well. If you can't, I can enlarge it. But I hope you can read the objectives of this course. And before we look at the objectives of this lesson, I want us to just reflect on a quote here by Confucius. Confucius was a Chinese philosopher. I like reading about Chinese history and quite a bit of where they have come from. Very interesting and rich history that we never read in school. You know, in school we're reading about African and European history. We never read about Chinese history unless you specialize. And very interesting, there are interesting things that the Chinese are doing, really. And so, anyway, Confucius, Chinese philosopher, said this: a man who does not plan long ahead will find trouble at his door. Interesting, huh? A man or woman who does not plan long ahead will find trouble at his door. Very interesting quote that I want you to apply in your own life. That, you know, even when you are seated here, you should be look at 15, 20 years to come. Where will you be 15, 20 years to come? I know many of you by end of next year are graduating. But take off 15 years to come. What will you be doing? You plan now. If it's a question of getting new skills, besides getting your degree, you may also take other courses, short courses, to be able to build your skills bank, or even networks, so that 15 years to come from now, some of you will be senior managers, some of you will be senior managers in companies, some of you will be running your own businesses, some of you doing very, very many things, and some will be doing nothing, regretting and saying, I wish I knew. So, ladies and gentlemen, he says, a man or a person who does not look ahead will find trouble at his door. That's true in every situation, be it in business, be it in social enterprise, be it in a business enterprise, whatever it is, be it an individual, be it a family. If they don't plan ahead, long ahead, then of course you find trouble. Trouble in terms of no food, no resources, and that kind of thing. If you look at the governors, for example, governors are 5-year term, and many of them plan ahead. They look at what can I do in the 5 years term, and they look ahead. The countries plan many years ahead. They look at the strategic plans of the countries and so on. They put together the plans that look at where we are going. So planning ahead, that's what Confucius says. What are the objectives for today? This is the menu, ladies and gentlemen, that I would want us to cover. And before I do that, the question I had there was comments about planning exercise. Ngoba talked about characteristics. Good, Ngoba, thank you very much. Mwasi, still the same, said it's an independent process. Yes, you don't independent. You have to think through it, and you can incorporate other people along. Thank you very much. Jaika, Victor, plans are very vital in all departments of an organization. Right. Without plans, without planning, without seeing where you are going, then you may not be able to reach where you are going. Business plan has a feature of being specific. Yes, more specific, right? You plan for a specific organization. Market analysis gets in, getting data. Beginning, thank you very much. Getting a data about customers, wants, and the earlier. All this also talks about planning, because market analysis, market plan, you know, how you reach those people. It's the same. It's really all is about planning. Our menu for today, ladies and gentlemen, the first item we'll be doing is explaining the definitions and concepts of business planning and related terms. We look at what is business planning and other related terms. Like someone may ask, is business planning the same as strategic planning? And so on and so forth. Then you'll be expected to analyze the key elements and aspects of a bankable business plan. Some say a good business plan. What's a good business plan? Is as good as the paper is written on, unless somebody is willing to look at it and maybe fund you or whatever. We'll also find what is the purpose of business planning or business plan. Then you evaluate the business planning process. We'll be looking at the process. What's the business planning process? What does it engage in? What does it involve? We'll also be looking at discussing the role and importance of business planning. What's the role and importance of business plan and plans? We analyze the process of idea generation. Yes, the whole journey of entrepreneurship begins with ideas. As you remember in our definitions, the beginning that entrepreneurs, to start an enterprise, you must start with an idea. Then is it viable? Then it turns to an opportunity. which you can run. We'll explore that again in this session, in this subtopic 5. We will also be looking at distinguishing between feasibility analysis and business planning. What is the difference between the two? Are they the same? Does one come before another one? And then we describe the importance of business model in relation to business planning. So generally, this is what we expect to cover. This is the menu that you have. It's a 7-course menu, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to welcome you to enjoy your meal. And also, if there are any comments as we go along, please, the chat box is open. Continue to keep your comments coming. As I see some of the comments that have come, planning involved coming up, new ideas. Yes, idea generation. Without that, you cannot plan because you need ideas to move ahead. Thank you, gentlemen. We move to next. Then, as we look at item 1 in the menu, I'll want to take you to what we call a preamble. Just a preamble here. What it does really here is we're looking at like that a little bit. Preamble is just like before the beginning. What are we looking at? And we said business planning is involves setting clear plan of where you and your business are profitably going and how to achieve those goals. Business planning is setting a clear plan of where you want to go, or strategy of where you and your business want to go. We talk about the you and your business for entrepreneurs, for sole proprietors, even company owners, the directors. If you're a director of a company like Safaricom, the CEO of Safaricom or Equity Bank or whatever organization, you should be looking at your organization. You own it in terms of you are the driver. Where are you going? Setting clear goals. If I may talk about even politics, the CEO of this country is the president. And you see the president talking about now, for his remaining 2 years or so, he was talking about the Big 4 agenda. You know, of course, they said what they wanted to do in the first 5 years. Then this is the last second term of 5 years. So they plan ahead, setting clear goals. Where do we want to go? Same as organizations, individuals, companies, businesses, and even SMEs. Planning is a continuous process. We mentioned that. We said it's continuous for business that involve regular monitoring to make sure that you are on track. There is continuous and there must be something. There's regular monitoring. Are you going the right direction? Are you achieving? If you say the plan takes a whole year, we are talking about business plan for this year, 2020 July to 2021 June. You will be monitoring this on a month-to-month basis. How are we doing? How are our sales? How are customers? Are we listening to them? What's happening in the competition, the substitutes? These are things that you look at, and so forth and so on. Employees, are people poaching my employees? You know, so that the key people who are the drivers are being poached by my competitor. You are always monitoring what's happening and so on. So planning is continuous and it involves also monitoring to make sure that you are on track. Business planning culminates in a business plan. Yes, business planning, don't confuse business planning is the activity and the business plan is the document that comes out. And the business plan really outlines the business model. Where do you want to go? And then effective monitoring and evaluation are hallmarks of success of a business plan. Effective monitoring. We mentioned about monitoring up here. Effective. You must ensure that what your plans are. You are planning to grow. For example, to grow to new branches. You must ensure that you have done feasibility study, as we will be seeing later. Where can we put this branch? Can we put in the same town? If you are in, for example, Nakuru, and you put in another part of Nakuru, or do you take it to Gilgil, or do you take it to another town? So it goes on into some kind of monitoring what you are doing and how you are doing it on a regular basis. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on. We're looking at the next item here is what is planning? Definition of what's planning. And probably I should mention here that in today's lesson, we'll have a video also. Very interesting video that I would want you to view immediately as we go along so that we can see what is planning from perspective of a successful entrepreneur. So planning, when you define it, is a fundamental management function. If you may recall your first course in management, you talked about planning. Planning is one of those 5 elements of management. planning, you talked about evaluation, you talked about coordination, all those 5 functions, more functions of management. So it's part of management. It's a fundamental, which involves deciding beforehand. You decide beforehand what is to be done, when it is to be done, how it is to be done, and who is doing it. Wow, powerful, yeah? Deciding, thinking ahead of yourself. What is to be done? Where do we want to go? We want to expand? Do we want to buy equipment for expansion? Or do we want to lease out so that we subcontract? You decide beforehand. When is it to be done? You have to come up also with timeline, because time, I say waits for no man. So you plan within the time frame. Timeline, when is it to be done? Next year, for example, this financial year, or this year, fiscal year. How is it to be done? You have to look at the structures and look at the process of doing it and who is going to do it. Then you fill it up with the right people that will be able to see your plan mature and so on. It is an intellectual process, as we saw earlier, which lays down an organization's objectives and develops various courses of action. Yes, you have to look at alternatives. Intellectual, in that you think through it. You spend time to think through. Planners normally get seclude themselves for some time to think through. They withdraw into a place where they sit and like a think tank. You've heard about think tanks. People sit and think through and come up with a way forward. If you look at what's happening today with the COVID-19, the president set up a national team, which is a think tank, receive information, decipher this information, put it together, and advise the president. So it's an intellectual property. Planning is intellectual property, depending on the business. If it's a micro enterprise, sole proprietorship, it's you who is the owner doing it. If it is a partnership, it's you, the partners. If it's a company, yes, the CEO and his team, the top management, spend time on this, and they cascade it down to next levels of management, the lower levels, and so on. So planning is intellectual property by which the organization can achieve those objectives. It outlines exactly how to attain a specific goal. That's what planning is in brief. And so, as we talk about that, I want us to view a video here, and we'll make our comments after we view this video. And this video is the prelude of the video. It's going to be talking about planning. The person, the lady who is being interviewed here, or who is talking about her business, will be talking slightly faster. But I would expect that they will catch up as we go along. It's a 10-minute, 13-minute video, and I want us to watch it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's see shortly here. As you decipher this. Very quickly. Not here, sorry for that. We'll come back here. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get the video on. Okay. Right. Very quickly, allow me this. Right. Go back here. Let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, this video, you let me know. Just a second. I'll skip that. Just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to get the right video. Sorry for this. A little bit technical hitch here. Yeah. Technical hitch a little bit here, a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about it. That's here. Second. Right. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back now, and this is the right one because there's quite a bit of there were quite others, but this is the right one that I was looking for. So, are we together? Hello? Are we there? Hello? Why lost? Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Hello? Hello? I lost you. Hello? Hello? Yes, are we together? Yes, thank you very much. Then we can continue. We can continue. Right. Right. There we are. Just a second. Just a second. Yes. Right.
Hakuna sauti.
Right. As you see, ladies and gentlemen, she's talking fairly fast, but never worry, because what we are doing here is giving you an overview of a business plan and also why a business plan is needed. So as you go along, just pick some of the comments so that we are able to discuss at the end of the video. Thank you.
Haina sauti.
Aina Sauti, hello, how are you? It's not giving you sound.
There's no sound, sir.
No sound, but you see the picture.
Somehow.
Hello, are you seeing the video?
Yes.
Hello, but how is your volume? Can you increase your volume in your? Are you listening using your earphone or something? Hello.
It's okay.
Hello, members. I want to hear. It's okay. How about the other members? How are you? Are we okay? The other members, are we okay? Hello? Are we okay? Yes? Cannot hear the video. Are you hearing it now when I go along? Let's see.
No.
No, there's no sound on the video. Yes, we are seeing the video, but no sound. All right. What I'll do here is, let's see what I can...
Yeah, sound.
No sound. All of you, no sound? No sound? Yes, no? What does that mean, Belinda? Yes, we are seeing the video, but no sound. There's no sound. Yes, we are seeing the video, but no sound. Let's see if I can be able to... Our phone volume are on high, but still cannot hear. Let's see the technicality here. Our photo, yes, our phone volume on high. No sound, no sound, no sound. All right. I'm just using a technician here. Let's see. Sound here. Sound here. Let's see if I can see the sound. The sound is very high here in my video. Let's see. Let's see that. Are we okay now? Did we hear something? Still there's no sound. Okay. Then no sound. Okay, fine. What I'll do is do something on the video. Meanwhile, you can... What we can do is, let's see if I can increase the volume here a little bit for this video. Let's see. Let's see. Write a business plan. Let's see. I'm trying to see volume here. Yeah, sound there. It's a delay there. Let's see. Okay. Let's try and see again.
No sound.
No sound again. Hello? No
Yes,
sound,
no sound
again. Okay. All right, fine. What I'll do is see no sound. I'll send this video to you, but I'll just discuss it through it at some stage. I think I will just get back to... I'll stop this video because there's no need of going on with the video. Right. Let me stop it, but I'll send this to you, and I'll also check on my sound system, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's what I'll do so that we are able to get a sound. But the video is talking about writing a business plan and why a business plan is necessary. And this lady started her business. From the beginning, she talked about she never knew where she was going. She was just guessing. But when she learned about writing a business plan, using a business plan, she began writing her own business plan. And this was a plus because she realized she could double her sales, and she could reach her customers, and she could get financing, and many, many other of those benefits of business planning. So what I'll do is we'll send you this video, and we'll also check on my sound system, but it should not delay us as we go along. Right, we continue with our class, ladies and gentlemen. The next item here is we will just look at planning, what it is, fundamental, it's a function, management, it's an intellectual exercise, and you are looking at objectives you are developing and various action, causes of action to achieve your objectives. At the end of the day, you want to look at the objectives that you have laid for the year. Business plan, normally, as we'll see, is prepared for a year. As compared to strategic planning, strategic plan looks at 5 years ahead, 5 years ahead, basically for 5 years ahead. Business plan is more or less looking at profitability of the business. Can I be able within the next financial year be profitable? What do I need to be profitable? And we'll be seeing that as we go along. Right. So as we go along here, I want to, as I said, I'll send you the video and I'll check on the sound. Fundamentals of business planning. What are some of those related concepts of business planning? The key elements of business planning include, number one, planning is essential. That we need to know. that planning is essential, not just an initial business plan, but regular ongoing evaluations and updated strategies. This is ongoing. It requires process of regular monitoring to ensure that what we are doing, we are moving on, we are increasing our sales. If, for say, in 1 year, you expect to increase your sales from 1,000, let's say about 50,000 shillings, a micro enterprise, and they look at a year ahead and say, look, we want to double our sales to 100,000 revenue by the end of the year. Small business, a micro. They need to look at how to reach there. And they look at either you can expand your current production, or you can go a new location. Micro enterprise, they can have a new location. If it's a kiosk, for example, one of your colleagues is running a kiosk just at the Rizuriru, near the junction there, and he has opened another. He said it was doing so well that he saw the need to open another one and hires one other person. So you planning, it goes with the planning, and you look at a year ahead of you. For business planning, you are looking at the year ahead of you. What kind of profit you want to make? Who are the customers who you want to reach? And it's a continuous exercise. Business plan, as we said, is a process. Business plan, as we indicated, is a document describing the nature of the business, the sales and marketing strategy, the financial background, and containing a projected profit and loss statement. Now, the business plan is a document, is actually a product of the planning exercise. I mentioned this earlier, that it is a document. And what does it include? It describes the nature of the business. Which business are you in? If you are in retailing, if you are in manufacturing, whatever you are doing, it really describes exactly what you do. If you're providing service like a barber, saloonists and the barber shops, it describes what you do, what services you are doing and products. And then sales and marketing strategy. What strategy are you going to use in terms of reaching your customers? It is described within the business plan. You also describe financial background. What is the financial needed? You look at the projections, the current position. What's the current financial position? And where do you want to go in the 1 year? So in year 1, you indicate your financial projections, cash flows, month by month, quarterly. You may also look at sales and the profits on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis. And at the end of the year, you want to look at the financial position at the end of the year. Where do you want to be at the end of year 1? And business plans, as we said, are more short-term than strategic plans. They're normally for 1 year. And then you can always extrapolate for the year 2. But you know very well that when you move to year 2, there are many things in the environment that may affect your production and your business. So normally, a business plan is done for 1 year because you can more or less predict what's going to be happening in the year, and you can more or less project what's happening in the year. Then the business model is a company's plan for making profit, how to create, deliver, and capture the market. Really, they are very closely akin to business plan. If you are going to manufacture, for example, your model is to manufacture, maybe manufacture or retail or be an agency business. That's the business model. We'll be touching that. And also, when you look at feasibility analysis, what's feasibility analysis? It's a concept related to business planning. Analysis of a business relevant factors to ascertain a likelihood of implementing the idea, stroke opportunity successful. It is really look at, is it feasible to do it? Is it viable? If I have, let's say, 500,000 shillings, and I want to either expand or open a new branch, expand by opening a new branch, or expanding the production line. You do a feasibility study. What does it mean? If I was to open a new branch, if it's a small enterprise, micro, and you are going to open another one, is it really feasible? Is there a market there? Are there competitors? So you do more or less research to find out how to be able to expand your enterprise. It's called a feasibility study. You analyze the relevant factors, such as, is what you want to do, is it going to expand? Is it going to grow your business? Because the whole idea here is business growth, expansion, increase in revenue, and so on. Then the strategic plan, on the other hand, the concept here is a document to communicate organizational objectives, actions, achieve them, element. It's a long-term process. This one looks at 5 years to come. Whereas the business plan looks at 1 year. It's more or less like an action plan. The strategic plan is a long-term document that looks at 5 years to come. Where are we going in 5 years' time? Where do we want to be? And of course, when you look at the strategic plan, you can break it down to year-by-year basis. Because if you say in 5 years' time, we want to double our sales. If you are doing, let's say, 100 million and you want to double in 5 years' time because it's a small business, 5 years' time, you want to double it. But between the year 1 and year 5, what are you going to be doing? That's when the business plan comes in. The year 1, business plan for year 1. How are we going to be doing it? How do we capture the market? Because you are going to double the sales within the 5 years. 5 years. It means every year you are going to be increasing by a fifth, and so on. So your business plan should be able to project how you are going to increase your sales or your production by a fifth, and the next year another fifth, and so on and so forth. So they are all related. This one looks at 5 years. This one looks at immediate, more or less action plan. And this one is a study. Feasibility analysis, more or less looking at, is it possible to do it? And of course, the planning is a continuous process and so forth. Moving to look at the next item here, which is attributes of a banged business plan. We have defined what a business plan is. It's a document. Document that explains what you want to do in 1 year in terms of sales, in terms of production, in terms of all the activities that you are doing. But why are business plans prepared? Now, we thought about a few things here that touch about business plans. It's dynamic. It's ongoing. So the attributes, some of the elements are, it is a dynamic document. Business planning is a dynamic exercise. It's a process that's ongoing. It considers competitive advantage. Remember, when you talk about long-term growth of a business, you look at a competitive advantage. In fact, strategic planning looks at gaining competitive advantage over your competitors. And so when you look at attributes of business plan, it must consider what is your competitive advantage over your competitors. What is it that you are doing better over your competitors? I want to pause here for a minute and pose the question. Look at some of the successful companies like Safaricom. I've used it many times. Look at Safaricom. What are some of its competitive advantages? What are some of its competitive advantages? What Safaricom? What are some of its competitive advantages over other telecom companies? Can you list some of them? What are some of its competitive advantages over other telecom companies? If we look at the competitive advantage, what are some of them? Advanced network. You want to explain more. We would really want you to explain more when you talk about advanced network. What do you mean exactly, Ngoba? Say a little more on that. What do you mean exactly by advanced network? Maybe you can mention. Yeah? I use Safaricom as an example, but we can also pick other companies. If you have a company that you think is doing very well, what are some of its competitive advantages? We are looking at this. Yes, it has the first business to invest in JICA. It was the first business to invest in money mobile transfer. Yes, that is a very interesting one, of course. Money transfer was keen. I can see Bigingi, M-Pesa innovation. Yeah, there are innovations came ahead. Good customer relations, right? Really, they're ahead of others because of good customer relations. They are ensuring that you are on. They hear you. Yes, I see Anyango Lodge offering services like Fuliza, unlike its competitors, right? They went into this money lending. I mean, in terms of micro supporting customers and so on. Advanced network, they are fast, yeah, has been in the market for long and has secured a large number of customers. Thank you, Leah, Ndiku, Dennis. Good customer care. Yeah, platforms, right? Yeah, wide range of customer efficient services to suit different users. Right, you have a whole array of products that you can see they do. A lot of customer products that go beyond just themselves, beyond really, and so on. Jacqueline dwells in research and development. Yeah, when you look at this budget, really, it's a lot of that looking at customer care, all aimed at supporting the customers. Spreads all over the country, yeah, compared to other, yes. Other networks, of course, when you go to some place, they tell you there's no network. You can see that. But Safaricom is fairly well spread, okay? Across the country, availability of bonuses like story bonus, Joram Jenga, yes, they're always coming up with new sweeteners, I would call them sweeteners, to make sure that the customers don't run away, yeah? To maintain the customers. You can see what they do. Vibrancy in terms of innovations and so on and so forth. Thank you. Thank you, yeah. So you can see here that when we talk of competitive advantage, really, some companies that are way ahead of others are really at their game very well, doing very well. Thank you very much for those comments, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, as we go along then, look at the other attribute to a bankable business plan or a good business plan is really you're talking about it incorporates short, medium, and long-term goals. It focuses on current and future aims. So a good business plan that is bankable looks at focus on current and future. It looks at immediate. Of course, immediate in terms of monthly, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and so on. It also incorporates yearly. When you look at the year ahead, we want to expand our production. It incorporates that. It also looks at, so it's not static in time-wise. It's looking ahead in terms of medium, long-term, and short-term. It relates to the bottom line. What is the bottom line here? Talk of the bottom line here. What we mean really here is improves sales, increase efficiency, reduce costs, and of course, increase the profits. Bottom line here are the profits. So a bankable business plan or a business plan that you can take the bank and they'll fund you will really touch on how you are going to make profits. It's about profitability. It's about breaking even. When do you break even? If you are a startup, business startup, for example, you'll be keen to see how soon can you break even? How soon can your cost be equal to or revenue exceed your costs, your running costs? And so it's keen. It shows that. It includes growth projections. Your business plan should talk about growth projection on a month-by-month basis, quarterly basis. You look at how are we growing? How is the business going to grow? When you look at you want to double your sales, you must be able to break that down into shorter chunks, beginning from the time now to 12 months from today. You're looking at the end of the year. Look at your financial year, begin from January to December. When you begin in January, what are your profits, let's say, at the end of January, February, March, first quarter? What do you project for first quarter? What growth do you expect for first quarter? What growth do you expect by half year? What growth do you expect by three-quarter year? And at the end of the year, you see companies declaring at the end of the year, before the end of the year, they talk about last year, this time, halfway, we were doing 30% increase in our profits. Last year, this time. But this time, we're doing 20%. Even before the year ends, you can monitor and know how you're doing. That's what it means. You can project growth and compare it the year before and so on. Affects the customer. Yes, a business plan that is bankable, a good business plan, affects the customer. It relates to the customers and clients. As we've seen here with these other companies like Safaricom, they're really in touch with their customers. They ensure that the customer care is way, way advanced and higher than their competitors. So whatever they do in terms of their plans affect the customer, relates directly to the needs of the customer. Because if you're doing providing services or goods, do they satisfy their clients' needs? Some of you have mentioned about Fuliza, and we have mentioned about the M-Pesa. All those things have come in to increase it would really meet the customer's needs. Safaricom is always research and development, looking ahead, finding out customer needs. What are they? Are we satisfying them? Is there a problem that has caused us not to do better compared to the competitors? They're always looking at how best to satisfy their customers. So it is customer-centered. A bankable business plan is customer-centered. They're looking very closely to what the customer needs and what you are not meeting and how you can do that. And then it asks the question, what if? Considers the risks also. A bankable business plan must have also a section on risks. Are we doing better? What if COVID-19 continues? You know, the risk, that is a threat actually. But it's a threat. When you look at the SWOT analysis, one of the threats here is unforeseen situations like COVID-19 that has affected really the whole globe, not only Kenya, and all businesses. Businesses have had to close. Customers are not coming to buy because they don't have the economic background in financial. In terms of financial, some of them have been laid off, some of them are on half pay, and some of them have no job. So really it affects now the sales. So in this case, those risks have to be taken care of, mitigating against risks. The risks you are facing, how are you going to mitigate against them? So some of the things that you consider. So these are what we call attributes of a good business plan. It's dynamic, considers competitive advantage. Yes, you are using that to be able to leverage on that. You incorporate the whole length from short term to long term. You relate it to the bottom profits. Must make sure that it's a profitable end venture. If it's not profitable, why be in it? Why waste resources running a business that is not profitable? That's what this is telling you. That is it profitable? Maybe you need to move. Maybe as you prepare a business plan based on research, you realize that running a kiosk, selling common household goods, I mean, fast food and so on, is not viable here. Because maybe people here have a different culture, they don't eat fast food, or there are many other competitors here. So you may switch and change. So because there will be no profits you're making, so in that case, you can also offer something else. Maybe do an M-Pesa. Do an M-Pesa, do some agency, and that might be, maybe can work better. So that's what it means. If there's no profits in the specific sales, if you look at what you're doing, then you have no business being that business. You can move on. So business plan also, it relates to this, relates to growth. How are you growing the business? Assuming that all things are equal. Economists will tell you ceteris paribus, and Mr. holding all things equal, you can be able to grow your business. Customers, are they there? Are they listening to you? Are they available? Are they willing? Will they continue with you, your business? And then consider the risk. What risks are there? If you may look at this sounds like a cookbook in that it tells you what you require to do when you prepare your business plan. These are the things you consider. Now, I may pause there for a minute and ask the question, do we see this? What are the attributes? If you are seated on the other side as a banker or a financier or a person interested in investing in a business, what other attributes would you want to see in a business plan? I'm asking myself ahead of time, but let's ask that question at this point. What other attribute would give a good business plan? What other characteristic do you want to see? We talked dynamic, it considers competitiveness. It is incorporates all the short-term, long-term, and so on. It relates to customers, includes projections. What other questions? What other attribute can you consider? What other attributes or characteristics do you want to see in a business plan? What other attributes or characteristics you want to see in a business plan? What other attributes, characteristics do you want to see in a business plan? And gentlemen, let me get your comments. What other? We say dynamic, competitive. It considers the competitors. Competitive short-term, long-term, relates to bottom line, profits. It includes growth. It talks about projections. It affects customer. Consider business risk. Any others? What other attributes do we see here, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. Good communication skills. Yes, Ngoba. Yes, 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 yes. You must be able to talk about it. Communicates. In other words, it communicates. Does it communicate the type of business you're running? And clearly, it means it must be written in a clear way. Flexible to changes technology, right? It should also be considering that when you're growing, it must consider that flexibility technology. Rules and regulations. Do you mean the laws? Do you mean the legal requirements? Because you look at the bank business plan, it must consider some of those. Yes, rules and regulations. Maybe you're talking about the legal requirements in terms of the licensing and so on, because you can't grow the business if the licensing, you are not going to get the license to grow your business. You have seen businesses that have closed because they were denied licenses and so on and so forth, or they were not in the right business. Organize their mind to generate new ideas, yes, something like that. Advanced technology and plan management, yeah. Those thank you for those comments. Needs to have a list of everything you need. Right. You must consider all others. What if? The question is what if? And that's why the risk comes in here. What if it doesn't work? What else? Do you have plan B? In other words, if you are going to have a kiosk that does not sell a small kiosk selling foods, or you are going to set up a supermarket, are there other areas you can consider? Visionary, acceptable in society. Yeah, you're dealing with issues that are really acceptable, business that is acceptable. You know, I'll give you an example. One time, somebody wanted to set up a mortuary in a village shopping center. And I want to tell you, people say, no way. They refused, actually. People refused. They didn't want that. This is a real example. Somebody wanted to set up a mortuary in a village town, a village center, shopping center, because there's none nearby. People used to go many miles away to go to keep their loved ones who are passed on and so on. But here, people say, no way. So again, societal. Somebody may have mentioned that. Realistic, it's so on. I see visionary, must be efficient, effective, similar. Thank you very much, those common consulting experts. Yep. That's a question that comes in here. If I may look at Anyango Lodges. Really, who prepares the business plan? And I want to bring in another aspect that, it's the owner who prepares the business plan, but must consult who? Some experts. You may not know about, many people have their business plans in their own heads. They know where they want to go, but they need somebody to help them put it down in a way that is readable. Because it's a document you can take to the bank. And it's a document you can use to solicit funds from friends so that they can join the business if you want to raise some capital. It's time. Clear roadmap. Your business plan should include all the milestones, clear targets and steps you need to take your business through in the first phase. It is a startup and growth, because businesses that grow really plan, as we saw earlier, and so on. So thank you very much for those attributes coming in. I want to move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move to the next slide here, very, very quickly, touching on importance of a business plan. Now, I want to pitch our tent here, importance of a business plan. The importance of a business plan here, what does it mean? It means, what is the business plan for? What is the business plan for? And as we can see here, critical decision-making support. For critical decision-making, it supports that. Business plan guides you in making decisions. Without a business plan, without knowing where you are going, how to expand or grow your business, you may not know what really, how to be able to make that decision. So it helps you. Secure financing. Right. Market analysis. I see some of the comments coming there. Ladies and gentlemen, clear roadmap. Yes, business plan gives clear roadmap. Yeah, it's a roadmap. Talk about business plan is a roadmap, really. It shows you where you are going in the next 1 year. With the targets, milestones, thank you, targets, markets, and so on. It describes your market also. Where are you going? It also, please minimize the slide. I can't even, somebody saying minimize the slide. that I can't even. Belinda, I'm not getting you. Let's minimize the slide. You can't see it a little bit? Yes, Josephine, I see. Please minimize the slide. I can't even type properly. What do you mean exactly, Belinda? What about the others? Is the slide okay? That's the question I may ask. Is this slide okay, ladies and gentlemen? Is it too big? Let me have your comments. Is this okay? Yes, Masi says okay. It says okay. If it's all right, yeah. So maybe Belinda, you might be, I don't know what you mean exactly, but it's minimized really. So let's go on. I'll just be reading them as I go. Thank you. It's okay. So securing financing. What do we mean by securing financing? If you are going to need funding, for example, from the bank or any other financial institution to grow, to expand your business or increase your sales or buy equipment that you need, a business plan will be required. It will ask you where do you want to go? It articulates your vision also. When you look at articulating your vision, you want to see where you want to go. We said earlier, as we saw in one of those, the bridges, for example, the example of the bridge. You saw the vision here is to reach across. And for many years, definitely people are wondering, how do we reach across the other side? Maybe they would swim across or do something. I want to give you an example. An example, I was doing some research in Nyanza. Some of you may know a place called Mbita. Mbita is on the mainland in South Nyanza, in Homa Bay County. And across, there is Rusinga Island. Across Rusinga Island and Lake Victoria, we have Mfangano Island. And between Mbita and Mfangano Island, there was no communication. People used to use boats. You know, sometimes they use boats and so on and so forth. And what happened is that somebody came up with an idea, vision of how do we transport people across? Because people across in the Mfangano Island need food that is grown on the mainland. And they also have a lot of fish on the other side. They want to bring it to the mainland. And so somebody came up with a kind of, he came up with a ferry. And today, they call them water bars. And now a lot of communication now between Mfangano Island and the mainland in Bita. Mainland Bita. There's a lot of traffic now. When I was doing my research in 2003, out there, we would only hire motorboats. You hire one, it takes you about an hour go across. And but now efficiency in transport. So when you look at the vision, somebody saw the vision that he wanted to connect Mfangano Island with the mainland, and therefore came up with various means of transport. I mean, water transport. There's a lot of activity going on down there. Anyway, it's an example. But vision is where do you want to go? If you look at Safaricom as a company, you know, they had to look at the customer. What does a customer require? Customer requires money. M-Pesa came in. Of course, it was somebody's invention and they took over and they ran with it. They look at many the services you see for any organization that offers services. Somebody had to dream about those services. What does a client want? How do I satisfy the client? And they articulate. So in their planning, they saw the vision comes on. So articulate your vision is a plan. I want to meet the needs of my customers. How do I meet the needs of the customers? What are the needs of the customers in the first place? And what the relevance of me being in business? So it articulates your vision very well. Avoids big mistakes. It helps you also. If you don't have a business plan, you'll make blunders. You'll invest in something that does not generate revenue. You'll invest in what they call white elephant. Many people, if I may use this example, some of you have been traveling up country and you know in those trading centers, some people put up shops, big shops. And if those shops now, somebody says, I'm investing, I want to invest in a shop, I either run it myself or rent it out. Not knowing that there are other people also and the needs of the customers around there. So you can find that many of those shops up country, you visit up country next time, you see are closed. There are only few which are very active. Rented and running. The rest, they're not doing any business. Mistakes are there. So without sitting and planning and saying, look, I have this kind of money. Most of those were actually from retirement. Somebody retires, a civil servant, he gets his lump sum money. And what do I do with the money? They go ahead and put up a plot. Oh, and I buy a plot in a town center or a trading center, and I put up a shop there building. People rent. No, tell you, you must do feasibility studies. We'll see later on. So avoid those mistakes. So business planning helps you. Or invest. There's an example given a few years back about a trader, a retailer in some place in Ukambani. You know, he went to do some shopping for his shop. When he went to Nairobi, where shops from Nairobi, of course, that's many years back. You're talking of the 70s, early 70s, late 70s, and so on. He goes there with his lorry. He sees blankets are very cheap. Oh, yeah. He goes to buy. Now, this was not part of his plan, what the line of his business. So he buys blankets, he takes them to his shop, and unfortunately, you know, the place is so hot, people don't buy blankets, and you use my blankets. So there's a lot of stock, and you'll see this even in some shops today, that when you go to some of those shops, retailing especially, their stock that's obsolete. Why? There are mistakes they made. They didn't plan. What is required? What are the needs of the customers? And what do I need to provide? So avoiding big mistakes, or investing in equipment that really, without planning, seeing what really, whether the machine is required and what's the capacity, you go into it. So avoiding those mistakes, business planning assists to avoid such mistakes. Or overhiring, you know, it's to avoid all that. A business plan outlines what you really need to be able to be profitable in the first year of operation, or in 1 year. Proves the viability of the business. Is it viable? If the business is viable, switch it. Invest your money elsewhere. I mentioned here, maybe I have not mentioned here, that Kiyosaki, in one of his books, he talks about the quadrant. I think the book that talks about the Cashflow Quadrant. Kiyosaki talks about a number of things, if I mentioned here. He talks about you can be an employee, you can be an owner of a business, you can be an investor, and you can be a business person. An employee, self-employed, the 4 quadrants. He divides the quadrants into an employee, a self-employed person, a business person, and an investor. He says about a self-employed person is the very fellows you see, they're running their own kiosks, running their own businesses, the owner managers. Then the business owner is one who owns several businesses. He may be in retailing business, he may be in transport business, he may be in real estate, yeah, at different levels, but he owns several businesses, which he runs, different branches also, he runs or she runs. Then the 4th scenario, you're talking about an investor, one who looks at those, he has resources. Instead of running a business myself, why don't I invest? Invest in real estate, for example, or invest in the stock, in the market, stock exchange, the capital markets, or invest elsewhere so that you are not directly involved in running your business. You are not there. You've given it to other people to run. If you invest, for example, in stock exchange or in some of those commercial papers, you invest in the trusts, your money will be running. For your information, many organizations, Britam and others, have trusts where you put in your money, you can invest your money. They tell you, look, we'll be paying you maybe 10% per annum or 12%. So invest your money there. So you can invest as much as you can. So instead of making a mistake of running your own business, which requires the nitty-gritty of you must be there yourself. You must be on the tap and checking, ensuring that there's no, the managers or the supervisors are running. I mean, look at a supermarket, for example, where you see the owner manager is very busy there, up there watching everybody, the employees are across and doing their work. Very rigorous, requires a lot of, it saps a lot of your energy. But you can also invest. So you can make a decision that if it is not a viable business, why don't I invest and wait for the money to grow? You hear some of the adverts, very interesting ones, that watch your money as it grows, invest with us, and so on. So you can invest. If the business is viable, why? Why go into transport? Buy lorries or put money in matatus. Why do that and the nitty-gritty? Why don't you invest his money and it earns specific guaranteed income? If the economy, of course, assuming economy is doing very well, you'll find this happening. So if the business is not viable, don't go into it. So the business plan, as you make it, you prepare it. It does not mean that you must just prepare a business plan for the sake of it. You are preparing to see that, is it a viable business? And when you look at the projections, and you realize that you may not break even. Break-even point is a point where you are talking of being able to begin making profits. When you start a business, you may not make profits the day you want because the expenses are there. Customers have not known the business very well. They are still testing whether your products are good, they can do business with you. That's period where the costs are higher than the income. So how long does that period last? If you look at this when we talk about business growth, that you see in business growth, at the beginning, there's zero profits. It may take up to about a few months, weeks or months before you begin making any profit. That means your revenue, your income is going to be exceed your expenses. And that's a break-even point. So if the business is not, it may not be viable. If the break-even is, let's say, a longer period, like 2 years down the road, is when you can begin seeing any profits. That's when now that business, you have to rethink about it. And the business plan shows you this because it gives you projections. In the business plan, the financial section, you're talking projections. What are the sales in week 1, in month 1? What are our costs? Your basic costs, for example, if you're running a business, what do you want? What are some of the costs? You ask that question. Maybe some of you may answer it. What are the basic costs of running a business? Question here. What are the basic costs? In bracket, fixed and variable. Of operating, say, a retail shop, small retail shop. What are some of the costs of operating a retail shop? Because we are looking at viability. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not lost you. I posed a question there. What are the basic costs, fixed and variable, of operating, say, a small retail shop? Think about them, those costs. What are they? And if we are talking of viability, you know, it's a question of the costs versus the revenue you are earning. So the business plan should be able to give you a picture of that exactly in terms of when do your revenue exceed those costs. Waiting to hear some of you. What are some of the fixed costs and variable costs? Rental costs, business permit, yes. The king, thank you. Rental. The rent is a fixed cost because you are paying on a monthly basis, whether you are selling or not selling. Big permits are fixed costs yearly, and so on, probably. Routine cost of buying supplies, yes, you're talking about the working, yes, cost of running the business in terms of supplies. Fixed costs include expenses that remain constant over a period. Have you given us examples, Jacqueline? Yeah. Rent, salaries, loan payments, you have variable costs are expenses that are, yeah, direct proportional, like what? Like a business activity level, volume, like direct labor, tax, and so on. Yes. Rent. Thank you very much for these comments. Yeah. Yeah. So we see within the, before to consider viability, you have to look at your costs of running the business. If it's a retail shop, insurance is fixed because you pay. Electricity is variable depending on how much you spend. Water is variable. So you have both fixed costs and variable costs. And therefore, to determine the viability of the business, you know, stock costs, thank you very much, rent, operating, yeah, electricity, yeah, tax, rent. Thank you very much for those comments. Yeah, so we are saying what? We're saying to prove the viability of your business, you have to consider the fixed costs, the variable costs, and revenue, the sales you make. If it's a retail shop, you look at it by the end of the month. Is what I have earned from people buying goods from me higher than the expenses of running? You are paying the salaries, you are paying rent, you are paying water, you are paying electricity. So if it is not, then you are talking of it's not viable. It may not be viable to run that business. For how long will it take for you to break even? It means you must increase the volume of sales. As you continue selling, as more people come to buy from you, then you are able then to have profits that exceed. I mean, your revenue will be exceeding those costs. And once you begin doing that, then your business is viable. Now, how long does that take is the question. So the business plan should be able to give you an idea of how long you'll be viable. The longer the period, the worse for you, because you'll be spending money without getting any profits. You are sinking that money, and hence you make a decision. Anyway, there are various decisions that can be made on this. At this point of time, we may not go into that, but with financial, we'll be looking at this, look at the business planning. Now, set better objectives and benchmarks. Yes, when you are starting your business plan, you'll need to set objectives. What do you want to achieve, and how long are you? After how long are you going to achieve those objectives? This is because at the end of the day, you'll need to measure your time between year 1, January, for example, December. And benchmarks include things like by mid-year, we should have doubled our profits, or we have gone halfway. If you are going to double your profits, then it means by mid-year, you should have gone more than halfway, slightly higher. Yes, halfway your profits for the year. Communicating objectives, yes, it communicates. People want to see what are you doing? What's the business about? What is it? What is this business doing, and so on. And benchmarks provide guide for service providers. Yes, it also guides those other people who are working with you. In terms of business plan, is a public document for those people involved in running the business, and even those who are actually stakeholders. Key people like financial institutions may ask for this, and others. If they are investors, who have invested in the business, they want to see how is the business doing. Better understand the business environment. Yes, the business environment. Better understand the business environment. Because you'll do environmental analysis when you look at your business. How is the environment in terms of economy? How is the economy doing? Because when you do your research, find out either if I start this business here, how is it going to be? If you are dealing with farm inputs and so on, of course, you look at farm inputs are only a certain period of the year. And then what do you do when it comes to other parts of the year and so on? So that builds in, and it also considers risk. Business reduce the risk. Yes, the risk of failure comes in. There's always failure. They talk about 50% of businesses fail in the first year. 50%. If you talk of 100 businesses, by mid-year, by end of the year, 50 businesses are gone. And as you go progressively, by the fifth year, you only have 10% remaining. That's what they say about businesses. So these are some of the roles of importance of business planning. Now, the question I want to ask is, what are other roles of business plan? Thank you very much for those comments. Transport cost, supplies, yes, electricity, Josephine, utilities, very good. What other question is importance of what are then the other roles of business plans? Business plans. What are the other roles of business plans? Or functions? I want to use a function. What are the roles or functions of business plans? Let's keep the answers coming, responses coming in. I want you to think about, reflect on that. What are the other roles? Business plans. Yes, what are the other roles? Business plan, let's keep them coming, please. Yes. What are some of the roles? Let's do the business plan. Right, Jacqueline, I'm okay. It's a roadmap, details your business, marketing plan. Yes, initial, yes. And go on, start sharing, start sharing, yes. Okay. Webcam, yeah. I see them coming, right? It enables full focus on the objective of the business. I want to highlight some of them. I think you act as a motivation factor. Yeah, it enables, creates clear picture, securing financing. Now, I want to look at this Bigingi's. Let's consider Bigingi's comment here. Business plan is essential if you intend to seek financing to start your business. A financial institution such as a bank will want to see your plan to determine the viability of the business. Yeah, the question of viability comes in, as we mentioned earlier. Is the business viable? If it's not, then we would not be in business as well. Yeah. Attract partners, right? Basically, if you are going to work with the people, you'll want definitely to find out whether the business is viable or not. If somebody, friends of yours, let's say 5 years time, when you're out there in the field, they come to you and say, look, we have run a business. We're running a business. Can you join us? One of the first things you'd want to do is the business plan. How is it doing? That's why you're attracting partners. It helps you to run the company with a more cohesive vision. Yes, right. I like that, cohesive, because you can be doing everything else when you go to let's say like this fellow who came from to go to buy equipment, goods and so on, and ended up buying a little blankets or stock that never really was moving because it was cheap. You go and say they sell now these products from a wholesaler or a distributor, and you buy them, and you really are not within the plan. So the plan gives you to think cohesively. What do you want to do? Smoothen the whole process of startups and business activities. Aids in strategic plan, right? Yeah, strategic planning. Normally, strategic plan, yeah, it comes ahead of a strategic plan, but it assists you to fulfill what your mandates are in your strategic plan. Business requires any startup capital or costs or for expansion, not only startup hustle, but also expansion. Keeping stock records and so on. All this setting objectives for management. There's one thing that I'm still waiting to hear. Some of you almost mentioned it. I can see Lemayan smoothens the whole process. Yeah. Setting objective for the management helps to identify, analyze, mitigate factors. Helps in need recognition, identify inventory, what's dead, stock, yep, and so on. Helps, right. There's one thing here needs recognition, seeking investment. One thing here that is coming out clearly here is that it also helps the entrepreneur to be focused. Somebody mentioned that earlier. Focus and to commit your ideas on paper that other people can read and be able to give you feedback. Yeah, it also helps you do that. Right, thank you very much. Let's move to the next slide, which is touching on the process. This could be too tiny. Yeah. The process of business planning. What does it entail? Is this slide clear, or can I make it larger? Please let me know. If it is too tiny, let me know. If it's too tiny, I can enlarge it. Yeah, this business plan. We are talking of business plan process. Aids in competition. That business plan helps in competition. Yeah. Business idea generation. It must begin somewhere. When you do your business plan, especially for a startup, what you are really doing here is you need ideas. And it's like you're starting from the beginning. So you need ideas. Where do you get ideas from? If you want to start up a business, assume, let's just reflect for a moment. Assume you want to start up a business. You've just graduated from university. Two of you, a colleague of you, maybe two or three of you, you have graduated, you graduated maybe a year earlier. You have been up and down hustling, as somebody says, trying to look for a job, applications, you've done a lot of them. And all of them, either you've gone for interviews, there's no response yet, others regrets, and so on. Then you begin asking yourself, hey, man, hey, guys, we have been tamaking all these 2 years or so. and there's nothing coming. What do we do with ourselves? That's where it begins. So ideas will come into your mind. What do we do? If you have been depending on goodwill from your relatives and brothers and sisters, and cousins, and maybe uncles and parents, time comes when you begin thinking for yourself. You think definitely. People say, "Oh yeah, you went to university. Now, mtoto wetu, she's still at home. You've been looking for jobs. Jobs are not there, and so on and so forth." By the way, government has put up what they call not apprenticeship, but there is internships. So one of the places to go to this government internship, you go check the government website and you find internship. But they may not be for everybody. They may not be sufficient. So you have tarmac, you've been out there. Now ideas come into your minds. Definitely, as people who are thinking, who have been empowered to read, you'll begin thinking, what can we do? If we see these fellows running products out there, like they start running kiosks, small shops, barber shops, salonists, transport, you look across. So ideas come in your mind. So it begins with business ideas. And then the next thing is you assess, conducting an assessment, idea assessment. Are these ideas possible? If I am going to start a saloonist here, I look around and nobody has a saloonist here. People go far. There are women and men here who want to have their haircuts done. Where do they go? They travel a distance. Or there's only one and there are long queues around here. What can I do? Maybe that's what I should do. I should start a barber shop stroke saloon shop. That you begin now, you're assessing the idea. Or can I start a fast foods? Maybe fast foods. Or a laundromat here. People don't, they need to have clothes, they need somebody to wash them, iron them very well, or use a laundromat. By the way, I have a colleague of mine, retired also, who used to work with him many years at Mo University. He's retired and set up a laundromat, place where, it's a place where people take their clothes to be washed, cleaned, and dry cleaned. Dry cleaner. Set up a small dry cleaner nearby. Met him the other day and said, Malibu, my friend, after retiring, I thought I should do something, keep myself busy and active. And so he set up what? Not because of out of necessity. That's another form of entrepreneurship. Eh? It's more of a lifestyle entrepreneurship, where a person starts a kind of business that just keeps them busy and provide goods and services without the strain or the stress of running up and down or staying at home. So your ideas, you begin thinking of ideas. Can I start a laundromat? Can I start a kiosk? Can I start a fast foods? What can I do here? Or transport. Then you begin working on those ideas. You conduct feasibility study. Research. Is this possible? If we are going to start a laundromat here, are there other laundromats here? How many people would want to take their clothes to the laundromat to do for dry cleaner? How much would they be willing to pay? That's now we are doing your feasibility study. Is it feasible to start this? Or if it is a saloonist, hair saloonist, you want to start one, is it possible to do that? Are there others here? Who are the potential customers? That's what you are doing here, feasibility study, which touches on the market study. Then you develop a business model. Yeah? What kind of business do you want to run? Do you want to manufacture? You want to do service? What do you exactly want to do? After you've done feasibility study and narrowed to some few possible ideas, then you move on to do your business plan. Now you have zeroed in on the type of model you want to do. Manufacture, maybe fast foods. You want to do the chips and things like those, the chips, sausages, whatever else, because there are not many people here who are running this, and you are introducing this, and so you do a business plan for that. And of course, when you do the strategic plan, you create a strategy. Now, business plan here really will be giving you strategic plan is the 5-year term, longer, 5 years. You have done your beginning, running whatever business you have decided on. 5 years to come, what do I need? That's when you do your strategic plan. Anyway, you launch your business. Strategic plan you may not necessarily do strategic plan at this point, but anyway, it's one of those that you will be considering. But after you do this business plan, then you mobilize resources and you launch your business. That's what happens. So this is more or less a framework of the process of business planning process, the business planning process, the process of idea generation, assessing them in terms of viability, coming in with opportunities. The ideas are there, but when you're assessing the ideas, you're actually coming up with business opportunity. What opportunity is there? The idea is just think about widely. You actually, just like in the forest, you walk in the forest and you can't identify trees. You want to see which trees are good trees. Yeah, just ideas, many ideas. And where do these ideas come from? Where do you get business ideas from? Maybe I should ask that question here at this point. Where do we get ideas from? Where? Let me ask that question. Where do we get business ideas from? In other words, what are the sources of business ideas? Can we get some of you saying something? What are the sources of business ideas? Let's know. What are some of the sources of business ideas? Tell us. Yeah. From existing businesses, right? Thank you very much, Onyoni. What else? Where else? Experts. Who are the experts? You better give examples of those experts. Who are they? Experts. Yeah. Brainstorming with who? It's good when you say brainstorming with who. You know, Lemanian Meingati. Who do you brainstorm with? Alone? You need to let us know. Mercy says talent owned, skills achieved, consumer wants. Yeah. When you talk about this, say more. By the way, as you keep your answers coming, type a little more. I realize this in your responses, in your cards, that some of you, when the question is asked about discussion, explaining, outlining, analyzing, what many of you are doing are just listing or copy and paste. That's what I realized. I'll be talking about it at some stage. I saw that happening. So when you give me answers here, type a little more. When you talk of talent owned, what do you mean exactly? Is it something that is inborn? Something you have, your ideas are in your head already? Or is it something that something sparks the ideas in you? Skills achieved, yes. Going through school, college, yeah. It gives you ideas. Consumer wants. How do you get consumer? Yes, from consumers. Possible consumers like this one of, you talk of hair salonists. Hair salonists here, you find out from what do they want? What styles do the ladies want? Maybe new styles have come that you want to bring to this to the market, and that will make you now better. From business plan, from business brainstorming, I see a lot of answers. Response here, director. Which directors, my friend? You talk about journals, yes. Reading. You can also read, and you can also get customer surveys. Yeah, you do now the survey. That's what feasibility study. Alex Tiongo from identifying business gaps. Yeah. You need to do a feasibility study. Market gaps, yes, inefficiency and market. That means you must be there already, seeing what the market's doing. If it's a retail shop, you want to see, you'll visit a number of retail shops to see which ones have failed. Then you do retail shop. Reading articles, magazines, yes, that ties on the business journals. You're reading, right? The board here, vacant business opportunities in the market, yes. How do you get them? You need to see what's happening, internet and business. You get those coming, yeah. Right. Interest in hobbies. And for example, if you are in handyman, you can generate ideas, right? May I hear some of you, maybe, probably. At this point in time, I may request one of you, any of you, you can get the mic and let us know. Yeah? Let's see if I can get somebody like, Beatrice Mukirai, are you with us, Beatrice? Hello, Beatrice, are you with us? Hello? Or Alex Tiongo? Alex, are you with us? Yeah? I want someone to say something rather than just typing. Can we get somebody saying something? I see someone, Leah Maina, saying passion. Leah, you want to say a little bit about passion? Passion, for example, you love to do fashion. Want to say something about that, Leah? Hello? Are we together? Okay? Maybe a bit of channel communication, but nevertheless, I see a lot of examples, interests, and hobbies. Yeah. Trade magazines. You can also get this from magazines. You get these examples. If you are handyman, you can generate ideas. Statistics from Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Yep. Yeah. Quite a number of these are possible. There are possibilities of generating business ideas. Very good. Let's move on. Yeah, can I generate business ideas? And let's look at this. What are business ideas, first of all? What are they? When you talk of business ideas, what is a business idea? Maybe that's where we should have asked ourselves. What's a business idea? Business idea is a concept which can be used for commercial purposes. It typically centers around commodity or service, either product or service, that can be sold for money according to a unique model. This must be a viable business idea. Interesting. What we are saying here is a concept which can be used for commercial purposes. It basically around either a product or a service. We already alluded to this. That's a concept which can be for commercial purposes. Find a good idea is the first step in the process of converting an entrepreneur's activity into opportunity. Yes. For an entrepreneur to be able to do what they want to do, they must begin with a business idea before they turn it into an opportunity. An opportunity now go to the next level, where you can now generate money out of that opportunity that's available. But first, it must be an idea. As you sit, some of you may not have mentioned this, even meditation, when you sit and think through, sitting, spending time, lonely time sometimes, you need to be alone, think about what you can do with yourself. Business ideas will be there. There will be very many of them, I tell you. What can I do with myself? I have the knowledge, the skills. Maybe I've trained as an IT person or a business student. I'm a business student. I've graduated with a business degree. What can I do with myself? You begin meditating and you come up with solutions. And you also ask questions. So a good business idea can be turned into an opportunity, and that's what entrepreneurs require. Characteristics of a business idea are those. What are the characteristics of a good business idea? They are here. It must be innovative. That means it's something that's not new. It's something out of the common. It must be unique. Means if you come with it, nobody has thought about it or has not done the way you are thinking about it. It is problem solving. Very interesting. Business idea is innovative, it's unique, it deals with solving a problem. If it is not, forget about it. People will not want to think about it because they think it's not really worth it. These questions are important. What is a good business idea? Where can an entrepreneur look for new business ideas? Already we have been talking about that. This is what you have been giving me, where you have answer number 2. What is a good business idea? Now that's a question I want to ask you. Give us examples of good business ideas. Give us examples of good business ideas. Give us 2 examples. I want you to give us 2 examples, each one of you. There. 2 examples of good business ideas. Justifying why you think they are good. Yes. Some of us are using voice only microphone. No, microphones are off. I can see what it means. Thank you very much. That's why we are not able to communicate. But sometimes you can also turn them on, please, so that we can talk better. Thank you very much, Hassan, for giving that comment. Yeah. Now, let's ask ourselves that question. I've asked you. Give us 2 examples of good business ideas, justifying why you think they are good. Can we read from you guys? Yeah? Nisha? We talked about what a business idea is. It's a concept. It's a commodity, good or service, and must be innovative, unique, and problem solving. Can we hear from you guys? Yeah. Right. I think we get a question. Give us at least 1 business example. Good 2 examples of good business ideas. Waiting to read from you. Yeah. Think about it. Good. What does it mean that good? Good is that it's viable. Yeah. I gave you examples of a laundromat, or a dry cleaner. Give you examples about running a shop. Give us yours. Give us some of yours. Yeah. You know, they talk of ideas. There are many ideas, but few are viable. But there are thousands of ideas. When you are seated there, many things go on in your mind, including my mind here, of what can I do? You remember about this COVID-19 that has really made people be very creative and innovative. People now think of many things, I tell you, even things they were not doing. Yeah, I don't want to preempt it. I'll give examples later. But do you give us, let's read from you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, when you go business idea, what are they? Can you give us examples, 2 examples of business ideas? Yeah, 2 examples of business ideas. Right, I see here, Ongoba, somebody, Onyoni. Yes, Onyoni Mose. I see, are you able to give us your own? I see here, Mercy. Online services, for example, filling care return. That's a very good one. Many people did that, these online services the other day. Filling online. That's a good business. Getting people coming and you do it for them. Very good business idea. Short-lived, but even prepare returns then for entrepreneurs. Good idea. Yeah. Then Leah, very good. For instance, you can come up with an app to allow people viable online jobs. Yes. Very good. By the way, online jobs are many. You can go into it yourselves. And even you sitting in your own house, in your own living room, or outside the veranda somewhere with a good phone, smartphone, or laptop, you can easily be doing online jobs and earn your chapas very well. I know people who are doing that and living on that. They don't want to be employed full time because they know they are multitasking, many things they can be doing. So that's a good one, Leah. Yeah, viable online jobs. You can have an app that identifies this for people and they pay you. Get some money out of it. Starting a travel agency at a cost due to many tourists. Yeah, Yango, it's possible. COVID-19 is the only risk that is there, you know, but otherwise you can have a smart travel agency. Okay, and do that. Setting up an agrovet in a gradual area where there is no need. Feel like yes, agrovet is good. Waweru, you can see you are from the farming area, like some of us are. Agrovets are very, very common now in some places. Some places they are not there. But agrovets are good. Nice. You can set up one. Butchery, yes, very interesting. Joram Jenga, I can see you like meat. Butchery is good. You can set up butchery for consuming. Yeah, butchery, and then you can do other things. Yes, you can do that very well. You can also have butchery for rabbit meat and others, exotic meats. Yeah, as long as they are within legal, not wild meat. And you can have that license. You can also have a license for that. Manufacturing of social distance reminder devices. Yeah, I like that. Lemon. You must have something that beep, it tells you are close to me. Be good with the peeps and the people move aside. Yeah, interesting. Food business idea, because food is an essential commodity. Yeah, food. How will it be different, Hassan? If you talk about food, how different is it? You know, because everybody's in food. What do you want to make? You want to mean African cuisines and so on, mokimo and ngwashes and things like those, and nyuka, and mursik. Maybe you want to do that kind of thing. Yeah, very interesting. And mure and so on, and ugali. Okay, don't be angry. Joseph Matundura said, oh, if you have the right equipment and experience, you can offer your photography, photography services, both local and national. Photography is a very dynamic area, by the way. With these smartphones now taking pictures left and right, it's one of those industries that has actually been very dynamic. So the type of photograph must be unique. Brian said, M-Pesa must do the M-Pesa. What's unique about it? Because the question was innovative, unique. Problem solving. Most of them are meeting the problem solving, but are they innovative and unique? That's the question I want to ask you. As you give us your ideas, are they unique? Are they innovative? How innovative is an M-Pesa? Yes, Brian Omondi. You talk of M-Pesa shop. How innovative is that compared to the others that are every corner? You see M-Pesa shop everywhere. Think about it. Luwoj setting up a boutique and beauty parlor. Yeah, Anyango. Yes, you may do that. Very interesting one. What else? You bring the music, you bring in something else. Yeah, add value. You can set up this and add value. But if it's not existing and you bring one that looks good, people will be there. Food business ideas is basic. Yeah, you said about Omar, but what's the difference about the food? What's unique? He must add uniqueness in helping people find rental apartments, fit to their tastes. Yeah, all these ideas are very good. Mutinia, Marianne, bakery, people would pay good money for good cake where you get the skills from online tutorials and get, yeah, online tutorials are good, but you also have to be careful about the context and so on. So that's interesting one. Bakery is a very good one. My daughter is doing this very well, and people like home-baked bread. They don't like this other bread from the factory, which is just part of the mass production. But home-baked nice bread, rich and thick and nice. That's where you might have a niche there. Because now with all this COVID-19, people want to avoid moving. And if you bake and supply, distribute, that would be a good one. Mutinia. Josephine, Matundura, photograph business idea. Yes. Photography, as I said, it's a very dynamic area because people now have selfies. You can use your camera. You can use your phone and do it. But you might want to do the portraits and so on. Interesting, and depend on where you put it anyway, the customers. Uber services, because many people fear public. Yeah, you talk about Uber services. Yes, you enter, you get a taxi and join them. Uber is an application and it's a company you must register, by the way. So you may want to get into that. Okay. Interesting ones there. See, keeping on coming. Layer minor, graduate products from rural areas to, yeah. This is happening now, by the way. With this confinement, getting graduate products from rural areas to urban areas through transportation and so on. This is interesting. You can be supplying this. This is a good one at the moment. It's money there because people must eat. Yeah. Whether Mutonji Ann Wanjiku, you said what weather? Isan. What do you want to do with that? Mutonji Ann, yeah, what do you want to do with that? Let's see. Let's go on. Mohammed Amar, clothing business. Yes. Bikingi, a game parlor where people come to play. Can you do virtual game parlor? It's very interesting because of this COVID-19. Interesting ideas. Thank you very much. Those commending, those who have commended. I see someone there saying I was trying to type something. I'll still read them when we come. Now, we said it's a good. What's a business? A good business idea. It must be innovative. It must be unique. It must be solving a problem. We want to move on then to, let's see, another one here very quickly. Analysis of business ideas. Very quickly here, to analyze a business. Good business idea could be an invention, a new product or service, or an original idea or solution to an everyday problem. Yeah. So a good idea may be suddenly dealing with the everyday problems that people face. What are the everyday problems? Somebody like Mayan talked about what? This social distancing. I think that's the in thing now. And we are going to live with this for the rest of most of the next few years ahead of us about social distance. So a device, for example, is the government talks about social distancing, 1.5 meters. A device that you can have maybe on your phone or somewhere where when you come, when somebody gets closer to you, it beeps, it shows you must keep the distance, it reminds you. And that would be very interesting, man. And many other social problems every day. There are many problems. By the way, if you sat there and thought about the problems people face daily, the list will be as long as you can continue thinking. There's so many. And then you find solutions to this. You can share those ideas with others. And when you share them, you get to clearly know what's possible. It may not be necessarily unique, but has a market for it. Yeah. Somebody says bakery. Yeah, it's not unique, but it's a market for it. People wanting certain type of bread. Garlic bread, you can see that, very nice, and so on and so forth. Bread that we have is common, but you can have unique type where you add value. Many entrepreneurs credit their accomplishments to exceptional execution of ordinary ideas. Yeah, many entrepreneurs, if you interview them. In fact, one of the assignments I'm going to be giving you very shortly, an assignment I'll be doing, will be to interview an entrepreneur within your locality, wherever you are, and find out some information. That will be in the next exercise I'll be sending you very soon. Maybe next week we'll send you out to that, to interview. And you find that most of those entrepreneurs you interview, some of them say they create the exceptional execution of ordinary ideas. You know, ordinary ideas, but execution is very, very different. You are actually innovative how you carry it out. It could be the same service as food service, a food kiosk, but the way you serve it will make people coming, because it's the same food, it's the same amri or whatever you are selling, but the way it is packaged will make you run there. That's why when you go to shops, some shops that are very full, others have no people, and yet they're selling similar items, it's because of the packaging, the exceptional packaging of how services are delivered, and so on. So many people you hear do that. Greater value to customers, yes, business ideas. Greater value to customers increases chances of this. Idea analysis, you look at everyday problems, unique, may not be unique, but the market is there, exceptional execution, great value to customers. When customers get great value in what you are offering, they'll definitely come to you, they'll run to you. Most startups are involved in industries where they have significant work. Yeah, most of these business ideas come from experience. That's what it means. It comes from experience, where you have had experience, either working or associating. Apprenticeship in industry recommended before investing. Yes, apprenticeship. When you go to industry, you guys, you've been to, out there on attachment. I think you'll be going there already after this or something like that. You learn a lot from there when you go to industry for attachment. So that's where you get ideas also. Ideas are coming from there of what they are doing, and you can do better. Move on very quickly. Touching on the idea generation process, or where these ideas come from. We asked this question earlier, and here we are summarizing some of the sources of ideas. Brainstorming is one of them. Some of you got it right. A number of you got it right. Yes, you brainstorm. 2, 3 of you sit down and think. We have been tamaking, or we have been working, and we are just being, we can do something better. You can be an employee as well, and you are a very dissatisfied employee because what you are doing is routine work. It might be just a clerical, filing foil documents and so on. Very routine, and you feel you can offer more. So you begin thinking about outside the box, and this talking with other people, and so on and so forth. Right. Focus groups, yes. Focus group discussions. Yeah, also there you get different experts, you sit together and you discuss. Observation, yes, this is a very key one. This is for free, by the way. This one is for free because as you walk, as you visit, although now there's limited visiting and going around, you can also observe what's happening in industry. Observation is there. You observe. In fact, we encourage people to carry a pen and a paper, piece of paper, small piece of paper or small notebook with you wherever you are, so that when you see things, you jot them down. That's my observation. You observe. That's, some of you did not mention that. You observe, and when you observe, you have ideas that come into your head because you are a thinking person. If I may talk about our own human beings, God created human beings in a unique way. When you talk of uniqueness of a human being, you don't stop like an animal. Animals normally just stop and eat. When they are eating, they just stop and eat. They don't think much. But the human being is made such that your mind's always working, if not 24 hours, is the rest of the time. Because you're always thinking. You're always asking yourself, what if? What can I do? And that's what I encourage you as entrepreneurial students. That one of the key things that entrepreneurs do is they are not lazy in their minds. People are not just letting their mind wander off. They're always thinking of something. Can I do something? Can I make a difference? What can be done differently that can make life better? And that way also, you are talking about observation. So you are observing, you are seeing, you are thinking, you are writing down. Ideas fly away if you don't write them down. You forget very easily because there's so many things going on in your mind. So through observation, you can generate ideas. Surveys, now that's what you'll be doing next when you talk about, you do a survey, a feasibility study. Emerging trends, yes, what's happening today? If you are observant and keen, reading, I encourage you to read. Read and listen to the TV, listen to the radio. Ideas come. What are the emerging trends today? What are the young people like yourselves, what are college-going students, what are they looking for? What about the old vases and those ones who are in the sunset years? What about the young ones who are born, the primary, secondary kids, students? What do they look for? What are the people in society, in the village? What are they looking for and at? You need to be thinking about these things. And as I said, with a pen and paper, you can always jot down many things. And you'll surprise yourself, by the way, if you are consistently and committed to writing down things that you see, you evaluate in mind, you see a lot of things about emerging trends. What are some of the emerging trends currently? If I may ask that question here. What are some of the emerging trends? What are some of the emerging trends that we see today. Give us at least a few. What are some of those emerging trends that give us opportunity or can give us ideas? What are some of the emerging trends, ladies and gentlemen? What are they? I want to read from you because many of you are just, you said you are only muted and so on, but you can always say something. Ready to hear from you. You can grab the mic and say something. What are some of the ideas? Some of the emerging trends that you see today that can give us ideas? What are they? I see Mercy Onkoba type something there. Yes, Mercy, production of hand sanitizer. Excellent. You know, the emerging trend is that hand sanitizer are even made in the village now. People can, I mean, you need some little technology, which you can, appropriate technology. Hand sanitizer, working online. Yes, that's an emerging idea. Very good one. Online marketing, teaching online like we are doing now. We are not teaching you guys and you are learning online. Yes. Online working, use of Zoom, meetings, programs. Yeah, these are emerging. So someone can come up with these Zoom ideas. Zoom has never reached its end. You can come up with a new innovation, especially you guys in IT. How can we improve or ride on Zoom to make it better for people to communicate and so on? Online working as use of Zoom meetings, widely used in the pandemic, this pandemic period. And I can tell you even beyond pandemic, we'll be still Zooming and so on. Yeah. Any other ideas? I'm listening. Leah is typing and Christine, yes. What about the others? Where are we? Have I lost some of you guys? Hey, where's Mohammed is there? Mondanje, Dinia, where are you? Rebecca Kimani, Regina Ntuku, where are we? Njomo, I've not heard from you, Njomo. Read from you. Yeah. And I, Sarah Kinama. What is happening, Sarah? We've not read from you. Wambui Kamau. Yeah. Well, Albert, I need to read from you guys. Yeah, Regina Ntuku, thank you. Producing masks, another one. You can see a lot of masks there, different colors, different shades, different types of masks are there. As long as you meet the minimum requirements. Leah, online working use of Zoom, yeah. Zera Kinama, I can see innovation of breakthrough breathing machines. That's happening. Yeah, you can come with ideas and come with other people. Those are new trends. They are all tied to COVID-19. You can see that. So there are emerging trends that are happening today that give you opportunities. Then research and development is another area that you have ideas from. Yeah, virtual reality, Vivian, yes, Sarah Kinama, yeah. Virtual reality is here. You can have this. Those are tourism, really. You can do virtual reality. That can be, tourists can be doing that. Local tourism, whatever. They can visit Masai Mara, see the animals there through virtual. You know, this kind of thing. 3D or whatever. Dimension 3 or 5D. Albert, doing business across borderline through e-commerce. Yes, e-commerce is the in thing today. So through research and development, we can. Trade shows and associations, yes. When there is trade show, please I encourage you, although now with this this COVID-19, we'll be having the shows like the agricultural shows and exhibitions. Those are places I encourage you students to visit, or anybody. If you go to trade show or exhibition, you learn new things. You see new products and it gives you it expands your thinking so that you can see beyond yourself. You have been buying maybe products from one source, you go to supermarket, buy from there. But when you go to a trade exhibition, wow, it blows your mind more or less because you see many new things that can be used to generate income for service or products that can be used to make difference in people's lives and so on. Trade shows and association, other techniques can be there, yeah, and so on and so forth. I see here Ndiku, Dennis, yes, draw deliver. That's emerging trend. Use of technology, perform research in medicine and so on. Doing business across borders. Yes, Ongoba, yes, he's typing a question, please. Yes, Ongoba, go ahead. Put your question, please. There is a Nyango on watch offering loan service through phones. A question, please, Ongoba. I'm waiting for your question. Mercy, Ongoba, waiting for your question. Mercy, is there a difference between idea challenge and idea generation? Well, there's not much difference as such. But you see, through idea challenge, there are people who have set up some kind of a forum and say idea challenge. It means you actually through that you can generate ideas. It's another way of generating ideas. I would use that term for now, but we can find out more solutions. But really, it's more or less the same. You are like a boot camp where you go there and you begin thinking in boot camp, in entrepreneurship boot camp, where people are put together, they begin challenging each other in terms of thinking of ideas, shaping and reshaping the ideas. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the next slide here. We are coming very quickly. Let's see. Well, quickly here. No, not 15. Should have done 14, 14 there. So we think about, yes. Idea analysis is actually trying to analyze those ideas. We talked about them. Idea, value, proposition, idea, unique value. Get feedback from potential clients. You know, that's why you're seeing your idea, does it work? You want to get potential clients to tell you something, perform market research, analyze a competitor, make financial considerations, set targets, prepare simple action plan. Yeah, this is the whole about ideas. You have come with the idea, what do you go through? Those are things you go through in terms of now getting to paper. Now, business opportunity is another question. Is there a difference between, what's the business opportunity? We talked about idea generation opportunities. What are opportunities? Opportunities, otherwise, are defined as repackaged business investment, allowing the buyer to begin a certain business. A business idea that has been thought through. An opportunity here is actually a business idea that has been thought through in terms of you have refined it now. Refined it so that's a packaged business investment. You can invest in it. If it is going to setting up a barber shop, setting up a mini supermarket, a mini mart, setting up, going to transport. You know, it's an idea that started, but you have now seen through it. You have thought through it. It includes selling or leasing a certain product. Now we have come down zeroing in now to products or services. So business opportunity now goes into the services or products you are going to deal with. An opportunity identifies business ideas with real commercial potential. Yeah. Putting here, real potential. For example, manufacturing of masks is a business opportunity. Manufacturing of sanitizers is a business opportunity. Online writing is a business opportunity. Online services, business opportunity. But they started as an idea. It was there from the beginning somewhere as a seed. The idea is more or less like a seed. And then when you move from the seed, it has to germinate. When it is germinating now, sprouting, it's a business opportunity. Can I take this or the other one? That's when you begin thinking of opportunity. This analysis identifies business ideas with real commercial potential. Business plan explores this potential in a systematic way. You explore your opportunities now in a systematic manner when you do your business plan. You are looking at this opportunity. I want now to set up a small mini mart here in this town called Town X. This mini mart, you've gone through the ideas at the beginning. You've seen this as an opportunity because there's no other mini mart in Town X, and you want to establish it. Then you prepare your business plan, the roadmap, how to settle it. Opportunity analysis makes sure that the entrepreneur is not at risk, on the right track. Yeah. Two pertinent questions. Is there sufficient demand for the product or service? That's when you're doing of this opportunity. Is there sufficient demand for you to invest in it? That means if the road is passing nearby and construction is going on, you'll find people will be there. There will be really services being provided. But if you have to set up a business, a permanent business there, the road has moved on. If it's construction site, the construction is finished, and there will be no more demand for the product or services there. But if it's something that is long-term, like a road has come by, it's passing by, and you set up, it's a junction, that's a good opportunity there. You have a good opportunity of setting up a nice business there, different types of businesses. Can the product service be profitable? Yes, that's another idea you think about. That's another litmus test, as we say. Is it profitable? First of all, is there demand? Is it profitable? If it is, then the opportunity is viable and you can go into it. Zoom into it. Right. We look at quickly here, really quickly. Opportunity analysis stage, you go through, seize the opportunity, investigate the need through the market research, develop your plan, determine the resources needed, manage the distinguish the features and so on. Here, when you develop, it's a business plan, really. Develop this. You go on, right? Going on really quick here, ladies and gentlemen, to move on very quickly here. Next slide here. Yeah, feasibility analysis. Now, we talked about feasibility analysis at the beginning, that one of the items you come across concept is feasibility analysis. And what is it in brief? It's really the process of confirming the start strategy, that confirming your plan, confirm your design is possible. Does it make sense? It's really look at the viability of an idea or opportunity. That's what the feasibility is. Before you commit yourself, your resources. You remember one of the questions we asked during the opportunity analysis there is there demand for your product? And is it profitable? How do you answer that? Through a feasibility study. Analysis. Conducted to objective and cover the strengths, weaknesses of proposed project or existing business or a business to be started. Involves basic research. As I said, is you must do market survey. It's a survey to realize, to see whether it's their product for it. If you are coming out with a new product like Omo, washing powder or whatever, you have to find out whether is there another one like that. What about the existing ones? What do the customers want? You must really go through, and competitors. Feasibility study goes through all these steps here, really moving very quickly. You want to help identify, assess opportunities and threats also. And these are the steps you go. Conduct preliminary analysis, prepare potential project income statement. Is it possible? Projected income statement. Market survey, I mentioned that. Organized structure, what sort of structure would you require? Opening day balance, okay, prepare opening day. Well, all this touching about starting your business, putting it really getting running. That's what it means when you're talking about feasibility study. I'm moving very quickly because we have notes also for these gentlemen. You look at it, but basically it's confirming, it's more or less confirmatory going to survey of whether can you get into it or not. Feasibility study analysis looks at this. The results of feasibility report includes the following. Really, this is what you get. You'll do your report, description of the product, technology, consideration, marketplace, identification, specific markets, market strategy, organization structure, what would you require, schedule, financial. Yeah, this is more or less general. But generally, when you talk of feasibility study, is actually to confirm that is your business opportunity, is it viable? Is there the market? Is it profitable? Those are the quick questions you'll be asking yourself. And how can you do that? By doing a survey to find out what is happening before you really commit yourself into it. Of course, you have done your business plan. You'll be doing your business plan after that, because doing a business plan is quite involve a lot of resources time-wise. And before you do it, really must know that what you are doing exists and you can exploit that opportunity profitably. Now, feasibility study, types of feasibility studies, there are different types mentioned. Technical feasibility study, hardware and software. You're looking at that. Technical feasibility. You can do financial feasibility, resources, investment, initial investment, resources to procure capital. You can do market feasibility. Is the market there? In fact, this is what we do for our for the business plan. We do this market feasibility does exist, and then financial is the fund is available. Organizational feasibility, yes. What sort of structure do you want to do? But basically, market survey and financial. Do feasibility study for this. And then, of course, as we go along, very quickly, business model. We talked about the business model. Business model really moves you towards a business plan. Business model is conception structure that supports the viability of the business structure. If it is viable, then what model do you want to do? What sort of business do you want to go into? All business processes and policies that a company adopts or a business adopts and follows are part of the business model. What you are doing. And the business model, you come up with a different type of businesses. What sort of business are you going into? You remember the feasibility study? And then you come up with specific type of business you want to run. I want to manufacture. I want to distribute, be a distributor or agent. I want to be a retailer. I want to be franchising. Rather than having starting from scratch, I have already existing businesses. You can franchise, and they have very good processes. Do e-commerce. All these are different types of businesses that you can run. After you've gone through the process of idea generation, viability of those ideas, the feasibility, yes, it's possible. Then what type of model do I run? Sort of business do I run? And once you do that, you commit yourself now to doing your business plan. Okay. Then, we just very quickly here, a strategic plan. I had mentioned about strategic plan earlier. That strategic plan really is look at a 5-year period. It's the process of documenting and establishing long-term goals for the business. And basically, you look at competitive advantage. You want to develop competitive advantage. And this comes in as look at the 5 years, up to 5 years. This is a whole different planning. You are looking at 5 years. Business plan is an action plan of a strategic plan. Let me repeat that. A business plan, more or less like an action plan for a strategic plan. With strategic plan, you're looking at long-term goals. 5 years to come, what do we want to do? Where do we want to be? Business plans look at this year, in the first year, in 1 year. How are we doing so that we move towards the goal in terms of profitability? Strategic plan gives you a place to record your mission, vision, and so on and so forth. The long-term goals, action, and plans. Discussed in the previous section, this is a map that guides the business into uncharted territory to give you a competitive advantage. Yeah, strategic plan gives you a competitive advantage. You are looking at competitive advantage as a strategic plan. Whereas when you look at business plan, it's profitability. Are we profitable in the first year as we begin running? It's action plan, more or less. If I may summarize, more of an action plan. This one is long-term plan, looking at competitive advantage over longer territory, over longer period. Shall we be there 5 years today? What will we be like? That's what a strategic plan does. Then break that down now into yearly. And when we come to yearly, we come to the business plan. The first year of operation, where do we want to see ourselves at the end of the year? Profitability. And you look at, of course, the market. It's key here. All right. We talk about also launching your business. This entails commencement of business operations as outlined in the business plan. Once you develop your business plan, then you launch your business. And to launch your business, basically, it ties on this. You remember in earlier lessons, we talked about what will it require for you to start a business. We talked about licensing, you talk about NEMA and many others. Here, to open doors, what do you need to do? Ensure you have the licenses. You've done, of course, your business plan. Ensure you have the licenses. Assemble the resources. Task allocating this. If it's manufacturing, then you'll have to have a whole system in terms of allocating workers and employees into the different departments, the structuring, starting your business before you open the doors. Set objectives and timelines. Yes. We look at the first year, first month, second month, first quarter, second quarter, that's halfway, third quarter, how you set all those time allocation and objectives, what you want to be achieving. Launch and monitor. You continue running this, you have the milestones, keep a tab on the finances, the cash flows is very important. That's why when you go to supermarkets, you find that these days with those machines, the till machines, they normally update the cash flows on a daily basis, on like a real time. As you buy an article, it's keyed in or it is read by that machine that reads and it updates the record of how much cash is coming in. And so cash flows, you can easily monitor on a minute by minute, the cash flows and so on. Either a single department or many departments. Now, the other one here is really networking. Because when you are launching a business, you are not in an island. There are other businesses also and associations that might help you. By the way, the other day I went to a barber shop and I was talking to this fellow barber. And I was telling him, are you a member of an association? He said, not exactly. I told him, look, you barbers here and saloonists here can set up an association within your town and also in your county and lobby for certain services to be provided by the county governments and local and also national government. So that you enjoy some privileges, if it's licensing, whatever. Oh, the guy he opened up his eyes very wide. He was very excited. He said, Mwalimu, hey, you're a Mwalimu. I said, yes, I'm a Mwalimu. I teach about business. And he was very excited because I told him, look, if like you're running this barber shop, you're the owner now. He said 20 years he's been running. I said, now, have you grown? What are the expectations? Are you an association with others to help you? And he said he wasn't. And I told him, look, I gave him interesting ideas, very interested. To do that. So, to an association that has certain a lobby group to either licensing or financing, special financing set up for you guys. I told him that this COVID-19, you are running your barber shops independently, and you pay rent and so on. You could lobby so that you get some financial reprieves and so on. Regular review of your business plan. So, this is launching your business, which will again go in details when we come to the next session. You come about business plan preparation and how do you implement it and so on. Right. Next item here, we move come to right now. We looking at, yes, Overview of the business plan. We're just finishing now. We're just coming towards the tail end. What is it? Overview of the business plan. A business plan is a prerequisite for starting any business venture. It outlines the basic business concepts of the business. It's an entrepreneur's game plan. Yeah, an entrepreneur's game plan. The roadmap. It's a game plan. It prepares. Its preparation may take long depending on the experience of the entrepreneur and the purpose. May take long, but you can also use other people to assist you to do this. Normally, I have experts, consultants who pay a fee, but you provide all the information. It should be a potential investor. Investors can also use it for people who want to invest in your business or you want to solicit funding. It should help the entrepreneur clarify his or her thinking. Yeah, this is one of the things, the reasons why you prepare it. You clarify your thinking about your business, because without committing any statements on paper and looking through the reflecting, you may not know where the business is or what kind of business you want to go. So it really helps the entrepreneur think about this. Okay. Right. And we come to summary components of business plan. The necessary components for your business plan, for your new business plan, include the following: the executive summary, the company description, the market analysis. These notes are also given to you guys. The notes, organization and the management. There's a section on that. Who are the people running the business? Goods and services you are offering. If you are not manufacturing, you might be just a distributor or a wholesaler or retailer. So the goods and services, you describe them here. These can also, in other business plans, talk about production. Because if you are manufacturing, this is where you discuss about production, how you are producing the services or the goods you are going to be manufacturing. If you have, for example, a furniture shop, a furniture maker, you know, cabinet, furniture, that's a production. Or if you are manufacturing, then you'll have a section on manufacturing and how the layout of the factory and how you are going to acquire the raw materials, the process you go through, the packaging, the distribution, the market, and so on. So it touches there. But this one is assuming you are just retailing or wholesaling. Marketing here, the marketing section must talk about, really describes your strategy for growth. You have started now. You want to retain customers. You want to attract. You want to grow. So this section touches on that. We'll be going to details when it comes to preparing the business plan. I think in the next class. Financial projection is very crucial here. You look at the bottom line. We know finance are the lifeblood of any business. Without you keeping a tab on the finances, you find that you cannot meet the obligation. You can't pay the rent, salaries, you can't pay suppliers. Therefore, you close the business. Very quickly, you go down to being able to be declared to be not able to meet your obligations. And you see NACMAT, what happened with NACMAT? NACMAT is really struggling and so on. And other businesses. Then you do the appendices. Appendices really are documents that are pro forma invoices, the projections, and so on here. Those are the components. I'm sort of moved through them very quickly because we'll be coming through them in the next class when we look at preparing the business plan. Lastly, and last and not least, ladies and gentlemen, we are asking ourselves these reflection questions. Are business plans necessary? Justify your response. Are business plans necessary? That's a reflection question I want you to reflect on. And necessary, justify your response and include who should prepare a business plan. You talk about business planning, it's a process. Are they necessary? You can run without them. Some research I've conducted on SMEs, many of the businesses, small enterprise, look, I don't need it. I have everything I need in my head. And that's dangerous because you forget. Our minds are not computerized well, but you might remember some, you may forget some, but you know, if you say I commit everything, I don't need it, you know, I just run my business, I buy and sell. Yeah, but you want to grow. So a business plan will be necessary. Yeah, but I want you get your responses on this. Are they necessary? Who should prepare them? You know. Then the next one is you are required to study the material represented in this lesson. Yes. Some of the reflection questions will come from there. Materials for this lesson, you will go to when you go to the session, the platform, you'll get these materials. You read them, study them, and there are others there. There's also an article there on business planning. I want you to read. Some research that was done on business planning is done. And there's also another video, by the way. I've also another video, including this one that we didn't hear the sound. I'll give you the URL. You listen to it. And they're very interesting about business plan. Both of them are business planning, which are very good and interesting. Unless there's any comments, I want to finish there by now. Yes, to mention yes. Any comments? Any final comments? Any final comments on the lesson? Give me your final feedback before we close, because we end this session. Yes. Can I say any final comments on this lesson, on the lesson? Ladies and gentlemen, as we wait on that, I want to hear from you. Yes. Thank you very much, Regina Ntuku. The lesson was interesting. Class was interactive. God bless you, Prof. Thank you very much. God bless you too, Mercy. Thank you very much. I only apologize because of that sound, but I hope we'll fix it next. But you have the video. You can read. You can actually view it. Class was interesting, interactive. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I also wish you a good day and wish you God's blessings. Keep distancing yourselves. Make sure that you sanitize, make sure that you keep away from crowds, and so that we can continue. Nice presentation. Have a nice day. Have a nice day too. Great lesson always. As always, God bless you. Thank you very much, Leah. I'm also happy to see you guys in class. Thanks. Yes, the class was interactive. Thank you very much. Nice. Thank you, Omar. Thank you, each one of you. Now, your friends, we are 35 in class. I don't know where the others are. I want to appeal to you. Can you get hold of them? That they are missing a lot. Some of you, I see, they only need notes at the end. But you saw as the cards came, you know, the exam is going to be more interesting, but the demand that you have read. If you don't read, then please don't blame anybody if your marks don't go well. But we don't want you to go that direction. We want you to read. We want you to understand so that you are able to be entrepreneurs and use the concepts and knowledge that we have given you so that you are able to make a difference in your lives. With those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I want to stop there and I want to wish you God's blessing. Thank you very much. Email, if there's anything, we send you, of course, see your card marks. The problem with the card marks is many of you did not, you know, you're guessing, some of you just copy and paste, you know, don't copy and paste marks, comments, responses. Understand the question, answer. We'll be talking about this in the next session. Otherwise, wish to thank you very much. God bless you. And let's keep learning. Let's keep running. And I'm sure at the end of the day, we'll be able to reach there. Stop that. Sharing. Yes.